So a barn quilt is essentially, they're typically based off of quilting patterns, but as you can see, some are more creative quilting patterns, not traditional quilt patterns at all. And you kind of then take the quilted pattern and grid that out onto a piece of plywood that's been primed and sanded, and then paint it, and eventually it'll then hang outside as kind of a miniature mural.
We put on several coats of primer. We did it in the garage downstairs and set up a workplace, and then brought up the prime boards and started to trace our designs and patterns on, and slowly but surely got to the point of actually taping off the various sections and putting the various colors in. It's like doing Ukrainian Easter eggs, you know, that are very intricate. You use levels of wax and peel it off and then do the next color, and that's really how these were. And they really came out as we were doing them and peeled each color off. People got excited about it because the lines were so crisp and the points were nice, so we really had a good time doing it. And it was we called ourselves the Barn Owls.
This was actually an idea that Barbara Bolin, she's the assisted living and Stonebrook social worker. She first brought this idea to me as kind of a compilation of images that she's collected. And once I started actually researching her project and seeing how doable it actually was, because these are essentially just geometric patterns that are drawn out on plywood, it seemed like a really good idea to actually try to pursue. So these will go up in Stonebrook. We're going to, there's some hardware for the back of them that'll be used to mount them onto the fence in Stonebrook. We still need to come up with the exact formation, but then they can be there all year. Obviously they will weather over time, but they should last for a good number of years out on Stonebrook's patio. Yeah, so these are two of the quilts that the Stonebrook residents painted. So we kind of brought over some patterns and different ideas to show the residents and see what they would be interested in working on. And I know the residents have really enjoyed even just looking at them when we have brought the boards back to Stonebrook every week to kind of work on the next step, whether they think that the colors are really bright and exciting or silly or whatever they think. They are always a talking point, so I think that'll be really good to have them out there on the patio as a talking point for years to come for residents there.
I just think that was a great idea to put it there because it'll make that area much more colorful, and a lot of color, which I think color makes you feel good.
Well, I like the idea that it's going to be enclosed in their patio, and it will brighten up the area where they will be hopefully enjoying being outdoors and looking at some beautiful patterns of quilts.
Well, like the others said, I think they will enjoy the colors and the different designs, and maybe someday we'll be there.
I think that's very important. The fact that they were also working on some quilts, and so it became a group project, and it will be there for them to enjoy and hopefully stimulate them.
I just knew it was going over in the memory care unit, and I wanted something bright and cheery and something that maybe most of them would recognize.
Well, I wanted something that would appeal to the setting in which it will fit, and to me that's a garden. So I thought about a flower, and the tulip. It was springtime when we conceived when the idea was conceived and presented, and I thought a tulip in the spring would be a nice feature.
I have an orange tabby cat, and then there was a display here earlier during COVID of everybody's cats and dogs on the wall, and I saw so many cats. So I thought when we had that, I know there are a number of orange cats and black and white cats around, so I thought for the residents over there, when Barbara Bolin wanted it to be sort of stimulating for the residents, to look at, I thought they'd be able to associate with the various cats that they might have had or lived near.
the finishing product. And of course, working with everyone, because they really worked hard.
Oh, the fun we had together. I mean, even just painting the primer on it down in the cellar was fun. We just had fun doing that, and it was really fun to see all the different designs.
I think seeing everybody else's and talking to people about colors and get different opinions and, you know, looking at things different, you know, oh, I didn't think of that, or I didn't think of this.
I love the painting process of it, and knowing that how important it was to get all the points in the right spot, and also the camaraderie that was going on in the art room itself. People were helping each other, helping in choosing colors, and giving us guidance.
I just loved working with everyone.
Yeah.
We had a really nice time. Everybody was so helpful and interesting, and everybody helped each other.
Mostly working with the other people on looking at the patterns they picked, the colors they picked, the designs, and just the camaraderie of it. Also, it's a good cause. Brighten up the inside of the fence in our memory care garden.
Actually, it was meeting all the different artists. You know, we spent many hours. It turned out to be probably more hours than we really had envisioned.
A lot of us I know have mentioned camaraderie. We've got to work together and play together. And starting with the 3 weeks in the garage in smoky dark shadows, winter coats on some days, shivering because it was so cold when we presented, or actually applied, 3 coats of primer that had to dry overnight before they could be sanded, and then applied again. I have to mention that. That was what really bonded us.
So what we're going to do is we're going to hang them onto the fence in this area. This is the Stonebrook patio, by the way. So I think if we kind of go every other panel, obviously avoiding the windows, we'll be able to fit all of them in here. I think it'll just be a really nice way to kind of, well, one, it'll kind of create almost an art gallery around the whole patio space. But also, yeah, just be a nice focal point for residents to come out and take a look at, walk over and see, and talk about and enjoy, add some color aside from just the garden, something more to look outwards towards.